Hi, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And if you are new here, welcome. I go by Omen the Love Angel. I am guided by the resonance of Mercury, aka Hermes. The gematria to my name and its highest polarities happens to be Mercury and astrology. I'm not an astrologer, but I convey messages tied into the planetary and celestial shifts, which these shifts are intertwined into our bodies literally, therefore bringing forth certain anyways, certain influences to our emotions that at times can't be explained or expressed through words. And that's where I come in, of course, to a certain degree, because we're all on our own individual journeys. That being said, this message is very time sensitive for those of you who are reaching a crucial point in your evolution, irrespective of where you may find yourself. I don't care about numbers because that has really nothing to do with it. It's more of the spiritual journey that you're on and what Spirit was having me look at, because I've been having a certain part of the information for this channeled message, but I wasn't being, guided as of yet to record. And Spirit was having me see how, everything is reconfiguring within the way I channel, and how everything needs to be done in a specific manner, but with patience, with patience and awareness. I was trying to say those two words together. It's weird. With patience and awareness through what I'm feeling and the emotions. And it's reminding me of, a channel poem that came to me that was really short, but it was, the father has gone insane and the child has burned its feet in shame, but the mother has been left abandoned in the rain. I believe it was something like that. I recall it was something like that. I remember I posted it in the post section, and then from there, came this series of events where I was watching a certain documentary of the brain, frontal lobe, memory, the hippocampus. But when it got to the part where they're speaking of the moment they mentioned the aRcon-Plex, Spirit had me pause the video. And then Spirit had me repeat it over and over again. And I'm like, the aRcon-Plex, the aRcon-Plex. Here, the aRcon-Plex, the aRcon-Plex, the aRcon-Plex, the aRcon-Plex. And I was like, oh, snap. So I started writing down. I grabbed the first thing that was on me. It's like, this book is not intended for that necessarily. I mean, it has pages in the back, to write notes of what you're learning from the book. But anyways, it was random. I just grabbed it. And it's funny what book it is, but anyways, we won't get into that. So from there, once I broke it down to the aRcon-Plex, Spirit had me, okay, so now define plex. And the medical definition for plex is, in medicine, plex is a common abbreviation for plasma exchange. That hit me like cold water, because I was like, whoa, just whoa. Because I'm like, seeing how I see how the mechanism works. And when I say mechanism, the spiritual mechanism of these parasitic demonic entities. It's really interesting when I read that. Start burping, excuse me. It tripped me out because it's a mutation that is allowed, because an exchange is something that is allowed. And it makes sense when you see how people transform, when you see how the darkness overthrows on those who are infested. They'll come at you directly, for the proverbial jugular. We speak Spanglish here. Anyways, that being said, what Spirit had me then realize through music, these songs start coming. And the first one was it's from Stairway to Heaven by Led Zepp, and there's the verse that says, "There are two paths, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on." And that's where Spirit's like, ladies and gents, the long run is here. This is the long run. You have to choose now. And this is where Spirit had me see two roads. And I was like, okay. But then also, Spirit had me write down Isaiah 11:6. Where I believe it's the sheep and the wolf. They didn't write it down. It's just as a reference, where they both coexist in balance. So I was like, okay. And that's where Spirit's like, okay, don't confuse the road, with, so it's one is of balance and the other is of imbalance, irrespective if you are, in the stagnated state of, stagnancy of the past and being resentful, being in the sheep state, or if you are in that, in the wolf state, where you see red, where you're blinded by anger and just act before thinking. Those are two sides of one single road that is an imbalanced road. It's like you feel blue, you see red. And this isn't, to say oh, if you're depressed, if you're going through it. This is more of I feel blue, of resentment of what has happened, and I'm going to hang on to it because it was done to me, and I'm going to move through it with a misguidedness, instead of transforming, transmuting, and allowing the alchemical process to take place. And this is where Spirit had me. So in the matrix, that is what is composed of this falsified, capitalized matrix that capitalizes the spirit and the soul in its totality. And that's what has many acting in this imbalance of what has happened and acting without thinking. So this imbalance leads, and Spirit gave me so many examples. Like, it was just a lot of flashes. Like, I was watching like distinct movies just coming at me all at once. I'm like, whoa. And then, is the real vibrational 5D matrix of Earth. And, it's just the Christ, the Christos, the anointing, the filling of the lamps with enough oil to traverse the long road ahead. And on this side, let's say, the right side is for example, the erroneous side, the side that is imbalanced. And then Spirit had me, it's quite interesting because I was born in Los Angeles, California. And then Spirit, has been telling me this message for a while, like the lost angels, and showing me the false light. That which divides. That which divides. Stability, the assurance, the self-assuredness. Fragments, the fragmentations. The capital of, lights and fame and fortune. All the facade that many believe is, making it. Which many, have achieved huge numerations through following the path of darkness. And by that, what Spirit wants me to clarify is the darkness isn't that which is being occulted. It's the darkness is that of ignorance, of ignoring the fact of what one is doing. Because it is of literal ignorance, because one doesn't have the necessary information to move differently. So then one gets blinded by these flashing lights and one starts manifesting through the selling of the soul. And all that really means, like I said before, the soul is this representation of this emanation currently. Like, this is my soul, what you're seeing currently, Everything in the realm has a spirit, but not everything in this realm has a soul. And when we proverbially, and when we sell our souls, it's just meaning that we agree to let this emanation be ruled. We gave up agency on how our true spiritual journey should go about, because we bowed down to to the stone and clay. We bow down to that which runs the false matrix. Because, you know, the mother, the true mother, which, you know, the matrix, is just Latin for the mother, which is being occulted for a reason, of course. But it took me down, you know, the streets of LA, and it's like, I just remember like walking down like Angel's Flight and like, you know, all downtown, like near the Knickerbocker, and it's like, ugh, like I can't be there. But when I have been there, like growing up, the amount of, you know, spirits that I was able to come across was really just literal haunting, because that's where I had the worst hauntings of my life. Because there's so much pain and resentment from not achieving true soul and spirit unity, the coherence that was needed in order to evolve the soul into, you know, an elevated frequency for the spirit. You know, resonances of energy stay stagnant, and the memory of the spirit's, you know, journey is still there, stagnated. And that's where, you know, spirit brought about these lyrics of a song called Know Who You Are at Every Age by the Cockatoo Twins. And the lyrics that like were really, you know, the verse that like really stuck out was, I'm not real and I deny, I won't heal unless I cry, I can't grieve so I won't grow, I won't heal till I let it go. Cry, cry, cry till you know why I lost myself identified. So bad. Anyways. I have to sing it or else I won't remember it, and also it helps like break my ego to be able to keep doing this. Anyways. Don't you hate it? Like, you're like, I know that song, and it's like, really? Like, what are the lyrics then? And you're like, but if you play it, I know everything. Like, it's like, that's what happens. Anyways, that's besides where I was going, is that the lyrics state, I'm not real and I deny, I won't heal unless I cry, I can't grieve, so I won't grow, I won't heal till I let it go. Cry, cry, cry till you know why I lost myself. Identify. And that's where spirit had me, you know, going back to the road that's imbalanced. This falsified 33rd degree of actioning. The father has gone insane. The son has burned his feet in shame, and the mother has been abandoned in the rain. And spirit started showing me like different scenarios, different experiences. For example, like showing me someone that's overworking themselves. You know, they have the stats, the money's there, the numbers are there. They made it in the falsified 33rd degree of this matrix, the imbalanced matrix. And, whatever it is, be it the light, the fame, the fortune, whatever it is, keeps these individuals like blinded from the truth. Shedding them was okay. Keeps these individuals from, truly acknowledging what the spirit needs in this soul's emanation. And it leads them to say like, oh, that pain and that, that hope and dream that I want a certain something is not real, and I'll deny it. It's just, that's not how it works. For instance, like, let's say that you have true soul desire is the spirit's fire. The true soul desire to build a family, let's say that. But let's say that you've been harmed in the past and it keeps you, in the dark. It keeps you occulted. It keeps your emotions, your true emotions, occulted from moving forward because you have kept yourself in a stagnated position and you deny it. It's not real because that's not how the world works, So we separate ourselves from what we truly want. And we get blinded by the lights. It's just the trick of the lights. That's another song. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it. Or should I get into it? I have to know what is real and what is illusion. Oh, how does it feel beyond this confusion? Exactly. But see, that's the thing when, of course, that's just an example. I don't know why that example keeps coming up, because that's the first example when I heard the Know Who You Are at Every Age, the Cockatoo song that came up. Cockatoo twins. The only way to truly, start manifesting correctly in the realm of the true 5D 33rd, Christos, anointing, having enough oil in one's lamp is to start moving without fear, to truly start moving in the soul's desire, to give the spirit its true fire, its true meaning. And then that's when the miracles start happening. It's when that which can't be seen is brought forth. And that's why many lost angels are stuck, literally even in Los Angeles. Like, there'll be people that aren't even, California natives that were born in the state, and they'll come for flame and fortune and lights, old Hollywood glamour, lights, camera, action. And I get it, no one's saying that it isn't like, like I am a lover of the art of music, amongst many other art forms, but when you see it, I keep getting the image of Prince, the truths he brought forth from the darkness, when he would like tag on himself slave. And as we're seeing this, the revelation continue, irrespective of how, it's trying to be covered up, or whatever. We see it. Like, we can try to deny that we don't see what we see. We can make pretend like, nah, that's not true. That's not how it works. Nah, like, people will be tripping. And You know, it's all a conspiracy, allegedly, and it's like, okay, that's fine, you know. It's in all our music from the past. It's in all the films from the past. Like, if you really pay attention, it's there. But going back to it, the realm that we just passed, the portal that we crossed, needs to be moved with truth, because one can say that one moves through the highest vibration, which is love, but love without truth is just manipulation of oneself or for others, irrespective. And to realize where one is still in reptilian mode, in the aRcon-Plex, because that is a voluntary exchange of plasma. We are allowing the mutation to continue to take a hold of wherever we are still in our wounding, because that's where they latch onto. And, you know, I've been told by many dudes, like, they're always going to be here. When you understand how parasites work, you understand that they need a host. And when you start moving differently, things start shifting, because you are allowing what's no longer good for you to let go of it, so that it makes room for newer vibrations to enter your vessel. But until then, nothing can move. And like I stated, it's irrespective of where you find yourself, because that's the false matrix. Why do I say that? Specifically, you know, for those of us who are in the Americas, okay, North America. Irrespective, North America, South America, Central America, if you are in the Americas, but for sure, you know, I'm talking to many of you who are here in the States, or who come from native indigenous backgrounds from north to south. Maori, Inuit. The imbalance that is being shown to us at this current moment where we reside, and just globally, but let's not expand so much as of yet. Just for a general understanding, if we were here in the States, truly, you know, vibrating in Christ's consciousness, in the Christ, if we were truly Christians in the embodiment, because that's a thing that spirit keeps like pummeling in my head. It's like, the Christ is more than a word. The Christ is the anointings of one's vessel that then moves one to, and this is simple, simplify it, to move through the golden rule, to love God above all things, because we are I, and I is the God, the conduit here on earth, and to treat others how you would like to be treated. Now, this isn't about perfection, because we are in the coronation stages. We are in the first shove of this birthing of the age of Aquarius, and we are the front line. And Spirit keeps showing me, like, we're paving this road, like it's a literal cliff that keeps, you know, coming forth on us, and we have to keep building. So this is what Spirit shows me, like the extension of our fields, the way we extend our fields, which goes back to the imbalance. Pardon me. the imbalance road. When we are stuck in the falsified 33rd degree of making it, because, you know, that's like, oh, mastering the energy of manifestation and materialization, lights flashing, cars crashing. No. What was that? Like, those are lyrics? Lights flashing, cars crashing. Why does that sound so familiar? Anyways, I'm not going to get stuck on that. You know, the razzle dazzle of the materialism. Which, you know, shows us the imbalance. Because there's a huge disconnection in that. Because if that was a true embodiment of the 33rd of the resurrection of the Christos within us, you know, to die in the Christ and to rise in the Christ, is to move as one with the mother. To move as one with the mother. Pardon me. My throat. Okay, the realization, you know, coming to terms, irrespective of where you find yourself, but particularly to understand that when one extends one's field and one is not serving the soul's desire, one is bringing that falsified energy forth, which then vibrationally affects everyone and continues to pay into the beast system, which then is the literal antichrist field. Because one is not thinking of other when one does that. Because one is paying into that falsified 33rd degree. Not serving one's true soul's desire because one is stagnated in fear, anger, you know, any lower polarity emotion. Which, of course, you know, emotions are cycles and one does not get to choose when the cycle ends, but one does surely choose when one will move differently. And then we will let spirit, you know, bring forth different results. The more we let go, the more it shifts. I hope this is making sense. My right ear, the inside of my canal is getting really itchy. And I don't want to stick my finger in there. I need to wash my hands first. Anyways. I'm having so many disturbances trying to get this out. It's really simple. I know it sounds kind of complicated, but it's just acknowledge. It's time to acknowledge that being on this road is imbalanced. Because the falsified matrix, this 33rd falsified degree, is built not on the solidified true mother of the balance 33rd risen Christ within through action. Excuse me. Now, this isn't to say that creation, you know, because I get it, we all need to generate. Right now, these are the coronation stages. These are the baby steps, but they must be they must be explained in this manner so that it starts cracking the soil that has been compacted so that new life may sprout, because it's in its organic nature to do so. And many will say that those who don't want to capitalize of, the creations, no one is saying that one isn't to create abundance. But when one fails to see how the representation of our energy through this exchange in paper feeds into a beast system that is of a lower resonance, vibrating higher and saying that acquirement is coming into higher vibrational hands, changes the narrative of that money. That is false, because your energy is still being paid into that, because you're not realizing that true 5D manifestation will come in the manner it's supposed to come. Now, I'm not saying that that isn't through money. I still don't know exactly how this is going to shift. But one thing is for certain, that the way things are moving at this current reality aren't serving the one. And the one is the whole. And that's why we're seeing so many natural events come forth. Because the huge disconnection